So today I actually wanted to talk about retro video game collecting. The reason I'm talking about it is because recently I went to a yard sale and I was able to pick up some pretty good items. Did I make a lot of money off them? No, but I was able to make my money back and some more. So I definitely made a pretty good profit on these items. Now, if you know me or may not know me, you will know that I'm not really a gaming collector or even a retro gaming collector, whether I'm collecting brand new games or whether I'm collecting retro games, whether it be from the last 10 years or the last 20 years. I'm not really a retro gaming collector, and that's due to the fact that if you look at gaming retro stuff in the last couple of years or even in the last 4 or 5 years, you will know that retro stuff, gaming retro stuff, is becoming more and more expensive as the years go on. So things as a whole are becoming as expensive. Now, not everything is that expensive, but as a whole, I would say that retro gaming stuff is getting to the point to where it's pretty much unattainable for a lot of people. You really have to think about your next purchase when you're trying to buy or collect retro gaming stuff. Luckily, I'm not that person. I just never found it enjoyable to go out and buy or collect anything, whether it's current games, retro games, or even past gaming. I am just not a collector of anything, really. However, I do love playing games, but I mainly just play the games. I don't really find it enjoyable to collect stuff. I play the game, and then I'm usually done with the game or not done with the game. However long I'm going to play it, I'm going to play it. But I don't really have any incentive to collect games now. However, I do really respect people in the retro gaming community. I absolutely respect those people a lot because those are the people who are going to preserve gaming for the long run. Like, say 10, 20, 30 years in the future, will those things be in a landfill or will those things be in a garbage? It's good that a lot of gaming retro fans are keeping these things and preserving them. So when we look back in the future, we'll be able to say, oh yeah, I remember that system, and they'll actually have the system with the box, the manual, and games too, complete in the box and things like that. We'll be able to preserve gaming's past, and we'll know where gaming came from. Because how many people in the year like 2040, for instance, won't even know what the Atari is? And it's nice to know somebody on this planet might have an Atari in their collection, and they can pull it out and say, this is where gaming started. It started with the Atari. So that's very, very cool. Also, it is also really good to go to yard sales, flea markets, thrift stores, swap meets, retro gaming stores. It is very good to look around for gaming retro stuff because those type of items can become expensive, and if you're collecting them or if you're just trying to buy them in the year, they tend to go down and up, but a lot of times they tend to go up in price, so you can actually get your money back. It's not like those collectors who have a big game room can't get their money back. They could definitely get their money back and more with some of the stuff that they have that's really, really rare. Now, of course, when you're going to thrift stores, flea markets, swap meets, you're taking a big, big risk when buying those items, I will have to tell you. And not everything I scored today were things that I actually could make a profit on just due to the fact that a lot of the stuff I actually got unlucky with. Now, right now, I'm going to tell you everything I was able to pick up in the yard sale. I picked up quite a few items. The first item being a brand new in the box PS1. Yes. Now, I know that's not the most sought after PS1 or PlayStation system. That's not the one that most people want. But considering I only paid $3 for the system, I made an easy profit because I have like I said, I have a gaming retro store right around the corner from me in my city, and I looked up the prices they were getting for some of these items you can trade in, and I made my money back on that, definitely. Like I said, I made all my money and some more, so I definitely hit the jackpot when it comes to this. It wasn't a big profit or anything mind-blowing or anything crazy, but it was good enough to where it was worth it. Next of all, I found 2 PSPs. They didn't have the box, but they had both chargers with the PSPs. They didn't have any games, no manuals, no boxes, no nothing. Just the PSPs and the chargers. Luckily, they turned on, they fully worked and everything like that. They only wanted $4 a piece for both of them, which brought it up to $8 for both PSPs. Now, one was a PSP 2000 and one was a PSP 1000, so the old chunky PSP. But either the way, it's still very good. I got those for $4 for each of them. 4 for one and 4 for another. Very, very good score there. I was actually hoping when I opened up the UMD drive for the PSPs there would be a random game in there. But unfortunately, there was no random game in any of the PSPs. So I did not really score there. And then the rest of the stuff I got at the yard sale was Nintendo stuff. And if you know, if you're a retro collector or if you're a Nintendo fan or just a game fan, then you will know Nintendo stuff tends to hold its value. Whether it's from the Wii or the DS or whether it's from the NES or Super Nintendo, Nintendo games really do hold their value. Is it everything? No, but for the first party games and a lot of the obscure games like a lot of the hidden gems, they're getting up in price and people do want them. So I scored there. Most of the stuff, honestly, though, I didn't score anything too crazy. However, I did score Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. Yes, and that game is actually being sold at my local retro game store for a pretty good price, I will say. Nothing mind-blowing, nothing crazy, but I got a pretty good penny out of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. Because as we know, Fire Emblem is still red hot right now. People love that series. If it wasn't honestly for the new Fire Emblem Awakening that came out on 3DS like in 2013 or 14, then nobody would have really cared about Fire Emblem as much, and the games wouldn't go up in price. But if you can find one of the Fire Emblem games, whether it be on the Game Boy Advance, the DS, especially the two console ones on the GameCube and Wii, those ones are really sought after, and they're going for a really good price. You can make your money back. So if you're ever out there in the wild and you see Fire Emblem, definitely take it. If it's one of the older ones, you'll probably make your money back and more and be really happy, unless the collector knows what he has. That's why I suggest, too, you should have some knowledge on games before you go out thrift shopping, whether you go out to a flea market, your local vintage game store. You should have some knowledge on games, just so when you actually go there, you'll know what stuff is worth and what's not worth, so you'll know exactly if you're getting ripped off or what they're charging and things like that. But that was a very good score. I picked up Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. On another note, I did also pick up some Mario Brothers games, and most of the Mario games hold its value. I wouldn't say any of them are going skyrocketing in price, but they definitely still hold a very good value. A lot of the first-party Nintendo games will always hold their value. And I got Mario Kart on the DS, I got Super Mario 64, and I got a spin-off of Mario 3-on-3 Hoops, but those games still sell very good, and they want it cheap. Actually, all these games I actually got were bundled with the DSs I got. The DSs I can actually show you on camera, because unfortunately, I wasn't as lucky with those systems, unfortunately. I wish I was, but I did not hit the jackpot with those systems. The systems were actually going for $3 a piece as well with all the games. They didn't even try to piece them out. I guess the person didn't care. They're like, let's just sell them as a whole lot, the games and the system. So I definitely hit the jackpot. There's also one game in this lot that I couldn't sell off just because, and I'll explain that when I show you the DSs. Now, I got two DSs. The DS models I got were the DS Lite and the DSi. Now, I did not get the DSi XL. I was only able to score a DSi original. So I don't know if the DSi XL is more expensive, people want it more, but unfortunately I only scored the DSi. Here's a DSi right here. Honestly, I love the DSi. I think the design of the DSi is flat out fantastic. It reminds me of the new 3DS, not the new 3DS XL, but the original new 3DS. I love the design of this one. I just love how small it is, compact it is. I will say the screens are kind of small, but the form factor for me is just awesome. And then right over here we have the DS Lite I was talking about. This is the purple / pink one right here. Now, I did make a mistake when I bought this one because I'm not really a collector, like I said before. I'm just here to try to make a profit off these because I found them at a very good deal. I was able to score them. But the problem this one has right off the back, I'm going to go ahead and show you right away. If you flip it over to the back, there should be a sticker right here, and it should have numbers on it. That's the serial number but unfortunately no serial number was on this DS Lite, and unfortunately, if you're not aware, most stores, whether it be GameStop, your retro local store, and things like that, just will not take them without serial number, because let's face it, this could be stolen and they don't want to be in hot water if this is stolen. Most likely it's not if you're buying it at a yard sale, a swap meet, or a vintage retro gaming store. Most likely it's not, but they can't take a chance. So if you ever see it without a sticker, don't buy it unless you're gonna keep it for yourself. And that should have been a red flag warning for me immediately, but I was not thinking to myself too much that there was no sticker on the back. Also, this does take its own charger. I don't think the charger is the same as the original DS. I know for a factor it's not a DSi or a 3DS charger, so if you have a DSi or a 3DS laying around, the charger will not work. Unfortunately, the PSPs had the chargers, but these two did not have any chargers. But for the money I was going for, I was willing to take a chance on these systems. Now, this one does take the same charger as the 3DS line. Whether you have a 2DS, 3DS, 3DS original, new 3DS, 2DS, new 2DS XL, anything that says 2DS or 3DS on the box, the charger will work. Same thing with DSIs. The DSi and DSi XL use the same charger, so don't worry about this. Even with this one, I would say that chargers are pretty easy to find. I don't know how much chargers are going for, but I would say that they're pretty easy to find. They might be going up in price, I'm not sure, but you can probably find one and you're still in luck. Now I'm going to tell you the problems that both of these systems actually have, because both of these systems actually have a problem, and I can't get rid of them. Unfortunately, they're good for parts, or just good for somebody that just wants to say that they have some DSs, good for like showing them off for like a collection and things like that. But unfortunately, I didn't score. The first one right here, the DSi has a problem. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and open it up and show you. You might be aware, but you can see on the bottom screen, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but look right there where my hand is pointing right here. You can kind of see some weird stuff going on. That's probably a sign of water damage, and when I turned it on, most likely it was water damage that messed up this system, just due to the fact that when you turn it on, it pretty much boots up for 1 second and turns off, and the screen had some weird kind of stuff going on. It definitely looked like it had water stains or something. So this is probably definitely water damaged, unfortunately. So it looks like it might be hard to repair, or you might even have to change the whole screen or even change the circuit board, and I'm not interested, especially since I'm not really trying to play these. I'm really just trying to get a profit off them. So I'm not too mad that I didn't score on these systems. The next one, the regular DS Lite with the Game Boy Advance slot, did not even boot up at all. Again, it might be the same issue with the DSi over there. It might be water damage as well, or it could actually be a battery problem. Maybe the battery is just too old and it just won't take a charge anymore. I'm not sure about that. But either way, this one won't turn on. Like I said before, most likely they're just probably unfixable, or they're fixable, but they're going to cost a lot to fix. Honestly, I'm probably going to discard these and put them in the trash can. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not going to put these in the trash can. I don't want to ruin the environment. So most likely what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them to a certified place that discards old electronics. And that's what I'm going to do with both of these. Or if I know somebody in the gaming community, in my local gaming community, who needs parts or just wants to show these as like a gaming history, I can put them up on a shelf and say, look, Nintendo made these once upon a time, then I'll give them for free, because I did not pay much for these, so I'm not too mad. That's why also it's good to know the pricing of a lot of things you're buying at these I'm like stuttering, but a lot of the things that you buy at thrift stores, flea markets, yard sales, swap meets, it's good to know the price to make sure you're not getting ripped off, because a lot of people know these are damaged systems and they're trying to scam you and hope that you're going to pay it, even though you don't know if they're working or not. But luckily, for the price they were going for, I did not really care that they were damaged, and I knew they might be damaged just because they're selling them so cheap on the market. Especially even if you go to a retro gaming store or GameStop. GameStop still wants a pretty good dollar, like $15, $20 something dollars for these. They're not going to charge $4. Even my local gaming store is not going to charge $4. So I knew something's up. But you never know. People are just trying to get rid of them, and they're still going to be in working conditions Just like my PS1 or my PSPs, I was able to score earlier today, so you never really know. Anyway, guys, that's just a little recent video of some gaming, retro gaming stuff I was able to come across. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.